Welcome to our classic books deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
And we're kicking things off with a book that sold tens of millions of copies worldwide
Wow.
and sparked a ton of conversations about money.
Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
It's a classic.
You told us you're interested in personal finance and building wealth.
Mhm.
And this book, with all its controversial takes,
Oh, yeah.
definitely offers a unique perspective that I think we can both learn from.
What's fascinating about Rich Dad, Poor Dad is that it's not just a dry financial textbook.
Right.
It's a personal story.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki frames his entire philosophy around the lessons he learned from two very different dads.
Yeah, the two dads concept is kind of genius.
Mhm.
You have his biological father, the poor dad,
Right.
who represents that conventional path we're all told to follow.
Yeah, get good grades, get a secure job, work hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then there's his friend's father,
Right.
the witch dad,
Yes.
who throws that whole script out the window,
Completely different perspective.
and their views on money are drastically different.
Totally.
Kiyosaki's poor dad believed the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right. The classic saying.
But the rich dad countered with the lack of money is the root of all evil.
Totally opposite. I mean, talk about a clash of perspectives.
Yeah.
Really makes you think.
It's like they're playing two different games
Mhm.
with the same set of rules, or
Well-
maybe even different rule books altogether.
Exactly. And that's where Kiyosaki's critique of traditional education comes in.
Okay.
He argues that we're all being schooled for the poor dad's game.
Right.
Get good grades, get a secure job, work hard.
Mm-hmm.
But we're never really taught the rich dad's rules for building wealth.
So what are those rules then?
Well,
I know I wasn't taught them in school.
it all starts with understanding the difference between assets and liabilities.
Okay.
You probably already know the basics.
Sure.
But Kiyosaki takes it a step further with some pretty bold claims. He argues that a house, which most people consider an asset,
Yeah.
can actually be a liability.
Wait, hold on. You're saying my house,
Mhm.
the thing I'm pouring my life savings into,
Yeah.
could be dragging me down financially.
It all comes down to cash flow.
Okay.
If your house is sucking up your income each month
Right.
with a hefty mortgage,
Yeah.
property taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and constant repairs,
Yeah.
then it's not putting money in your pocket, it's taking it out.
Makes sense.
And that, according to Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
is the definition of a liability.
Okay, that's a pretty mind-blowing way to look at it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this ties directly into his concept of the rat race,
Oh.
which he describes so vividly in the book.
I've heard of that.
It's that cycle so many of us fall into.
Mm-hmm.
Work hard, get a raise, then spend more, pay more taxes,
Yeah.
and end up right back where we started.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Don't we all?
So how do we break free from that trap? What's the rich dad solution?
Kiyosaki's answer is to mind your own business.
Interesting.
And he's not necessarily saying quit your job and become an entrepreneur,
Right.
though that is one path.
Okay.
It's more about building up your asset column,
Yeah.
having your money work for you,
Mm-hmm.
so you're not constantly trading your time for a paycheck.
So what kind of assets are we talking about here?
Okay, so
Some.
give me some examples.
He talks about real estate,
Okay,
but strategically,
right.
not just any property.
Gotcha.
Businesses that can generate income without your constant involvement.
Okay.
Stocks, bonds, intellectual property.
Mhm.
Basically anything that can put money in your pocket passively,
Okay.
even while you sleep.
The classic make your money work for you approach.
Exactly.
It's starting to click now.
Good.
But then he also goes on about corporations, right?
Yes,
That part always seemed a bit over my head.
it's definitely more complex.
Yeah.
But Kiyosaki sees corporations as powerful tools for wealth building.
Particularly when it comes to taxes.
Right.
He explains how corporations can actually spend money on expenses before paying taxes,
Interesting.
which can be a huge advantage.
Okay. That sounds intriguing,
Mm-hmm.
but also a bit intimidating for someone like me who's not exactly a business tycoon.
I understand.
How would an average person even begin to navigate that world?
Well, that's where Kiyosaki's emphasis on financial intelligence comes in.
Okay.
He argues that it's not just about one specific skill,
Right.
but a combination of accounting, investing,
Yeah.
understanding markets,
Yeah.
and even knowing a bit about the law.
Wow.
It's like having a Swiss Army knife of financial knowledge.
And he's a big believer in overcoming fear, right?
Absolutely.
Because let's be real, investing can be scary,
It can be.
especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
Dude.
Kiyosaki sees fear, particularly the fear of failure
Right.
as a major roadblock. His view is that failure is part of the process. You have to be willing to make mistakes and learn from them.
Right.
He even compares it to learning tennis.
Well, yeah.
You don't just quit after one bad shot.
Makes sense.
You keep practicing, refining your technique,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually you get better.
Okay, that's a helpful analogy.
I like that one.
I'm starting to see why this book has resonated with so many people.
Yeah,
It's not just about the technical aspects of finance.
right.
It's about shifting your mindset
Definitely.
and building that financial resilience.
Absolutely.
And remember, you don't have to figure everything out on your own.
Nope.
Kiyosaki talks about the importance of seeking advice from experts,
Yeah, like who?
mentors, financial advisors, brokers,
Right.
people who can guide you through the complexities of the financial world.
Mm-hmm.
He even shares this anecdote about how he bought a property for $9,000
Oh, what?
and immediately sold it for $25,000,
Wow.
thanks to the advice of a seasoned broker.
That's amazing.
Whoa, that's a pretty convincing example.
Yeah.
It really highlights the power of leveraging expertise.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
So, and that's one of the key messages I take away from Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay, what's that?
It's not just about working harder.
Right.
It's about working smarter.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means seeking guidance from those who have already walked the path you're on.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I think so. You know, one thing that really struck me about Kiyosaki's approach
Yeah.
is his emphasis on seeking jobs for what you can learn,
Oh, interesting.
not just how much you'll earn.
Yeah, that's
It's
interesting.
a pretty radical idea
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah, that definitely goes against the conventional wisdom of
Mhm.
chasing the highest paycheck.
Right.
But he actually puts this philosophy into action in his own life, right?
Absolutely.
Oh.
He talks about joining the Marine Corps,
Oh,
even though it meant taking a lower salary
right.
than his peers who went straight into the corporate world.
Oh, wow.
He saw it as an investment in himself, an opportunity to develop leadership and discipline skills he knew would be invaluable in the business world later on.
So it's like taking a temporary pay cut for a long-term gain.
Exactly.
Kind of like how you might invest in a stock that's not performing well right now,
Yeah.
but has the potential to skyrocket in the future.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And his rich dad constantly reinforced this idea, especially in the early stages of a career.
Right.
Prioritize learning over earning.
Okay.
It's about building that solid foundation of knowledge and experience that
Right.
will ultimately pay off down the line.
Okay, I'm starting to see the strategy here,
Good.
but I imagine it takes a lot of discipline
Da-da.
to turn down a high-paying job
Yeah.
in favor of one that offers more learning opportunities.
Right.
How do you stay motivated
That's a good question.
when bills are piling up and
Yeah.
you're tempted to just go for the quick cash?
Kiyosaki talks about this too.
Okay.
He calls it overcoming laziness, but not the kind where you're lounging on the couch all day.
Oh,
It's more about mental laziness.
I see.
The kind that keeps you stuck in your comfort zone,
Right.
afraid to take risks or try new things.
So it's about breaking free from those limiting beliefs
Yeah.
that hold us back.
Exactly. He even makes this provocative statement
Oh, really?
that busy people are often the laziest.
Wow, okay.
They fill their days with meaningless tasks and distractions
Yeah.
to avoid facing their fears
Right.
or dealing with difficult emotions.
Whoa, that's a bit of a gut punch.
It is.
I know, I've definitely fallen into that trap
Yeah.
of using busyness as a shield.
And it's a dangerous trap
Yeah.
because it prevents us from growing and reaching our full potential.
Okay.
Kiyosaki argues that true financial freedom
Yeah.
requires us to confront our fears head on
Mm.
and embrace the discomfort that comes with learning and stretching ourselves.
He also talks about overcoming arrogance.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that part being pretty powerful.
Because arrogance can be just as blinding as laziness.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki believes that people often use arrogance to mask their own ignorance.
Right.
They'd rather pretend to know everything
Mm-hmm.
than admit they have something to learn.
It's like that fear of looking foolish
Yes.
prevents us from asking questions
Right.
and seeking out new information.
And that can be incredibly costly,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially in the financial world where things are constantly changing and evolving.
Absolutely.
Kiyosaki talks about how he'll sometimes listen to an audiobook multiple times.
Wow.
Even if he disagrees with the author's viewpoint,
Really?
he forces himself to see things from a different perspective, to challenge his own assumptions.
It's like giving your brain a good workout.
It is.
And I guess that's how you really develop financial intelligence.
Yeah.
It's not just about memorizing facts and figures,
Right.
but being able to think critically, adapt to new information, and spot opportunities that others might miss.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
It's about cultivating that entrepreneurial mindset, even if you never start your own business.
Okay.
It's about looking at the world through a different lens
Right.
and seeing possibilities where others see roadblocks.
This is all starting to make a lot more sense.
Good.
But how do you actually go from learning to earning?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
How do you translate all this knowledge into tangible wealth? Kiyosaki is a big proponent of finding mentors and seeking advice from experts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He believes in paying professionals well for their guidance.
Right.
Because ultimately, their expertise can save you time, money, and costly mistakes.
And he emphasizes finding mentors who are actually walking the walk.
All right. Exactly.
Not just talking about financial success, but living it.
He even talks about how he'll interview potential financial advisors.
Oh, wow.
And ask them point blank about their own investment portfolios and tax strategies.
Interesting.
He's looking for someone who's not just spouting theories,
Right.
but has actually achieved the level of success he aspires to.
It's like finding a guide who's already climbed the mountain you're trying to conquer.
Exactly.
And he emphasizes that it's a two-way street, right?
Yes.
You have to be a good student.
You do.
Actively engaged in the learning process.
Right.
Not just passively expecting someone to hand you the secrets to wealth.
Absolutely. He talks about the importance of being proactive.
Okay.
Seeking out knowledge, and constantly expanding your financial literacy.
So how do you do that?
And it doesn't just have to be traditional education.
Okay.
He's a huge advocate for attending seminars, reading books, listening to audiobooks, and even playing financial games.
Like what?
Like his own cash flow game.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Have you?
It's like a board game that simulates real-world investing, right?
Exactly.
That's cool.
It's a fun and engaging way to practice making financial decisions,
Okay.
learning about different investment strategies, and developing your financial intelligence in a safe environment where you're not risking real money.
That's a brilliant idea.
I think so.
And speaking of risk, Kiyosaki talks a lot about overcoming the fear of failure.
He does.
It's something that holds so many people back from pursuing their financial goals.
He believes that failure is an essential part of the learning process.
Okay.
You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone, take calculated risks, and sometimes even fall flat on your face. But the key is to pick yourself up, learn from those mistakes, and keep moving forward.
He even has this great analogy about the Alamo.
Oh, yeah.
Texans don't bury their failures, they get inspired by them. They turn them into rallying cries.
That's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's about having that resilience, that grit, that determination to succeed.
Absolutely.
Even when things get tough.
It's like shifting your mindset from viewing failure as a setback to seeing it as a stepping stone on the path to success.
And that shift in perspective is what truly separates those who achieve financial freedom from those who stay stuck in the rat race.
This whole conversation has been incredibly eye-opening.
Good. I'm glad.
It's made me realize that financial literacy isn't just about numbers and spreadsheets.
Right.
It's about mindset.
It is.
It's about courage. It's about having a willingness to learn, grow, and embrace the unknown.
It's about seeing the world through the eyes of an entrepreneur, even if you never start your own business.
It's about taking ownership of your financial future and realizing that you have the power to create the life you want.
And that's a message that resonates deeply with me.
Yeah, me too.
It's a message of hope.
Absolutely.
Empowerment and possibility. Welcome back to our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Thanks for having me back.
One of the things that makes this book so memorable is how Kiyosaki uses stories and analogies to drive his points home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that story about the two contractors who are hired to bring water to a village.
It perfectly illustrates the difference between working hard and working smart.
I remember that one.
One contractor, Ed, immediately grabs his buckets and starts hauling water.
Right. Just gets to work.
Back-breaking work.
Yeah.
But it solves the immediate problem.
Right. He's solving the problem right now.
Yeah.
But then there's Bill, who takes a totally different approach.
Bill's the guy who plays the long game.
Exactly.
instead of just reacting to the problem.
Yeah.
Bill takes the time to build a pipeline.
Right.
It takes more effort up front.
Oh,
but in the end, he creates a sustainable system that delivers water effortlessly.
Wow, that's smart.
He's not just working hard, he's working smart.
It reminds me of that saying.
Oh, yeah.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
And that's what Kiyosaki is trying to do with this book.
Yeah.
Teach you how to fish for financial freedom.
Okay, I like that.
He wants you to build your own metaphorical pipeline, a system that generates wealth even while you sleep.
And that all starts with understanding the difference between assets and liabilities,
Absolutely.
Right? We've talked about it a lot.
We have.
But it's clearly the foundation of his whole philosophy.
It's the core principle that everything else builds upon.
Right.
Remember, an asset puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes it out.
Okay.
It's easy to get caught up in the trap of thinking certain things are assets when they're actually liabilities in disguise.
Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Assets good, liabilities bad. But for someone who's just starting out, where do you even begin to build that asset column?
Kiyosaki emphasizes starting small and focusing on learning as you go.
Right.
He's a big believer in finding a mentor, someone who's already achieved success in the area you want to pursue.
So it's like finding your financial Yoda.
Right, exactly.
Haha, I like that.
He also recommends reading books, attending seminars, and most importantly, taking action.
That makes sense.
Knowledge without action is meaningless.
He even suggests playing his cash flow game.
Yeah.
Which we talked about earlier.
We did.
It's a fun way to dip your toes into the world of investing without risking real money.
And he stresses the importance of overcoming that fear of failure.
Oh, yeah. That comes up a lot.
So many people are paralyzed by the thought of making a mistake.
Yeah, for sure.
But Kiyosaki sees failure as an essential part of the learning process.
Tells that great story about Colonel Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Who was rejected over 1,000 times before finally finding someone who believed in his fried chicken recipe.
It's a powerful reminder that success often comes after a string of failures.
Yeah, I can see that.
The key is to have the resilience to keep going.
Right.
To learn from those setbacks.
Yeah.
And to never give up on your dreams.
I think a lot of people struggle with finding that balance between taking risks and being responsible.
Absolutely.
It's easy to get caught up in the get-rich-quick mentality.
It is.
And end up making impulsive decisions.
And Kiyosaki acknowledges that he's not advocating for reckless gambling with your money.
That's good.
He emphasizes the importance of doing your due diligence, researching investments carefully, and seeking advice from experts before making any major financial decisions.
So it's about being strategic, not just lucky.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's about building a solid foundation for financial success.
Yeah.
One brick at a time.
I like that analogy.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
But as long as you stay committed to learning, growing, and adapting, you'll be well on your way to achieving your financial goals.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what are some of the key takeaways you want our listener to walk away with?
For me, it's Kiyosaki's message of empowerment. He reminds us that we all have the power to create our own financial futures.
Right. It's not predetermined or anything.
It's not about luck or circumstance. It's about making smart choices. Taking control of our finances and building a life of abundance and freedom.
It's about shifting our mindset from victim to victor.
And that's a powerful shift.
I agree.
When we believe in our ability to change our financial situation, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities.
Totally.
We start seeing opportunities that we never noticed before.
It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and suddenly seeing the world in a whole new light.
Exactly.
Well, to wrap things up, I wanted to share one final quote from Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay, let's hear it.
That really stuck with me.
Okay.
Kiyosaki writes, money is only an idea. If you want more money, simply change your thinking.
Powerful words.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that our financial reality is a reflection of our thoughts and beliefs.
Right.
If we want to change our financial situation, we need to start by changing our thinking.
Challenge our assumptions, question the rules.
Exactly.
And most importantly, take action.
Because knowledge without action is meaningless.
So go out there and create your own financial success story.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, this was great.
Hopefully it sparked some new ideas.
I know it did for me.
And inspired you to take control of your financial future.
Absolutely.
We'll be back soon with another journey into the world of classic books.
Can't wait.
Until then, happy reading.
See ya.